Hello, everyone. My name is Crystal Campos, and the topic that I was researching on is cyber friends, are real friends, whether accepted by society or not. I recently watched a documentary where it had two teenage girls. These two teenage girls were actually victims of assault. Different states, but they went through the same exact thing. They also went through being recorded, and that recording being distributed throughout the high school boys so they can see the sexual assault happen. Unfortunately, one of the girls ended up committing suicide. The other one is an advocate for other teenage girls and older women who are going through the same thing. With that being said, I want to give you a brief insight on bullying and cyberbullying. What is cyberbullying and bullying? Bullying is a face-to-face interaction which includes acts of violence and aggression that is repetitive. Cyberbullying is very similar, except the cyberbully hides behind a screen. They don't share who they are. They can attack multiple people at once. So those are the differences and the similarities of bullying and cyberbullying. The implications of bullying and cyberbullying are depression, self-harm, suicide attempts, and suicide. Not only do the victim get these implications, but so do the perpetrator. The perpetrator, whether it be he or she, tends to go through something in life, and they're acting out or lashing out on these victims, which can create these implications on that perpetrator as well. So with cyberbullying, I wanted to talk about cyber friends, the more happier topic. Cyber friends are people that you meet online, people that you connect with in various ways, different parts of the world. So with cyber friends, I wanted to look at why people make friends online, how could people be perceived for spending most of their time online making cyber friends, and what excessive online communication can potentially do to the person, and what good can come from making friends online. So I want to talk about cyber friends and socialization. Socialization is behaving in a way that is acceptable to society. Therefore, human beings learn how to think, behave, and act through agents of socialization, meaning you're talking to your peers, you're interacting with them face-to-face, you're interacting with your family, your friends, your coworkers, and that's a form of socialization that's learned. People think that you need to have this form of socialization, the face-to-face interaction, in order to learn socialization. So interpersonal relationships decreases the quality face-to-face time communication with family members, or friends. So they think that if you don't interact face-to-face, that you can't interact face-to-face. So if you grew up playing games online, interacting with people, they feel that those people who interact totally online, they can't interact when a human being is right in front of them. But socialization can be learned online. There's little communities that you interact with that can actually help you interact face-to-face with other people. Internet is an effective tool for maintaining and deepening relationships, not only with your family, but friends and meeting new people. Because you get to meet these people around the world who may have the similar interests as you, and then you meet other people who may have interests as you that you find are interesting. So you can interact with people in that way, but face-to-face interaction. The next thing I would like to talk about is culture shock. Oh, never mind. Culture shock. So culture shock is a well-known term used to define the initial experience of immersion in an unfamiliar culture, meaning that when someone comes into, let's say, technology, our culture full of technology, the older people, the elders, they come in and they're like, what's going on? Why are you communicating through texting or through online interaction? Why is it that you're not just like talking face to face? They'll stand back, they'll watch what you're doing, they won't put themselves in your position, they won't try to understand why is it that you're communicating in such way. So this can create a culture shock for a lot of people. And then that's when social migration comes into play, where because everyone's moving forward with technology, there's some people who are being left behind, in which they should probably migrate towards it, because it seems like we're all involved, we're all connected to technology in some way. The next thing I'd like to talk about is the presentation of self. Goffman's presentation of self. And Goffin's presentation itself he states that they manage their impression through dress, props, and manner, in which Henderson and Gliding start to say, like, cyberspace has obvious limitations, but it's a form of presentation itself. Yet you're not interacting from face to face, but you're interacting through the computer. And that's like a prop. That's like you're the actor and the audience is on the other side. So it is a form of interaction, presentation of self, and that's how you can interact with people online, is through a form of prop. My methodology, I use Cal Poly Pomona students and faculty from the ages of 18 to 44 years of age. I used the SONA website. I distributed 25 questions in which some were open-ended and some were closed-ended questions. And I got 100 respondents to this. So I had an overwhelming amount of data. And I'm going to show you a few of the questions that I asked that were open-ended. But first, I'm going to give you a little bit of the background, the demographics of my respondents. So 33% were male and 67% were female. The next I asked was their age. 89% were between 18 and 24 years of age, 10% were 25 to 34, and 1% was 35 to 44. The next question I asked, which is really important, which I felt was really important, was time spent on electronics per day. So I had 37%, with the highest being 3 to 6 hours. The most hours spent online I put was 12 plus hours, and 5% said they actually did spend 12 plus hours online interacting with people. Then the 34% I got 6 to 9 hours. So as you can see, like, I didn't think a lot of people would have been so honest about it, but they actually were. I was very impressed with the 5% that said that they spend more than 12 hours per day on the internet. Then I asked another question is if they would talk to people online, but without meeting face to face. 57% said yes, and 43% said no. So my first open-ended question was, do you believe that meeting someone online can become more than an online interaction, more like friends or a relationship? And I structured the questions that I chose was, they're for it, they're against it, and they're neutral. So this one, one's for, one's against. The first respondent said, no, because I don't believe in meeting strangers online. It is unsafe and unrealistic. The next respondent said yes, because as an introvert or black sheep, it can be hard to meet people. SoCal media websites can provide a place to meet people with similar interests. The next open-ended question that I asked was, do you reveal your true self, or do you create a different persona? The first respondent said, different persona, so it will be difficult for them to find me in real life. The next respondent said, different persona at the beginning. You don't show all your cards at the beginning of the play. The last respondent for this question said, I reveal my true self to people online. Why lie? The third open-ended question I asked was, has there been any disputes online where it has ended negatively? So this question, I got such little response, because if they didn't have any negative conversation online, I asked them to put NA. So I think I had about probably 15 to 20 responses saying that they had a negative confrontation online. But the negative confrontation online was mostly political reasons. So I kind of didn't see that as too bad, but a few of them actually were cyberbullied, and some of them were hacked by their own friends. So the first respondent said, yes, my friend hacked my account and targeted me and my friends, to which the cops had to show up in real life at one point. The second respondent said, yes, cyberbullying from multiple people. And then the third one said, I once disagreed with someone's political opinion, and they used harsh language to respond to me. I didn't really know the person at all that well, so I was surprised to see such a defensive and harsh response. The last open-ended question that I will show you guys is, in your own words, what do you think about cyber friendship? The first respondent said, cool support system for people to have. The second respondent said, I think cyber friends are a very good resource to have. Sometimes it helps to know someone who actually doesn't know you so that you can provide a point of view you would never have considered. It is fun to know people who have the same interests as you. And then the last respondent said, I believe you should never share your true self to someone online unless you know that person in real life. It could lead to undesirable consequences. With my data that I collected, I wanted to see the perspectives of the Cal Poly students and faculty. I wanted to see their perspectives as to, are cyber friends good, are cyber friends bad? Is it something that is realistic or unrealistic? And I ended up getting a really good indication as to where people stand with cyber friends. I feel like it's going to keep growing more as we migrate to technology even more. But I thought this was a really good perspective to have on different various amounts of college students and faculty. The relevance of my findings are, I wanted to show cyber friends could be something bad, but it can also be something good. One can assume that the media can lead someone into believing cyber friends could lead to cyberbullying or low socialization. But instead, it can actually be a positive thing. And if the media were to portray it more as something positive, instead of showing the negative aspects of cyber anything, then we probably would socially migrate to making friends online. It is important to gain understanding as to why someone would spend countless hours communicating online rather than going out and making friends the old-fashioned way. And my conclusion, this study covers why people make online friends, how one can be perceived for spending most of their time online and having cyber friends, what excessive online communication could potentially do to the person, and what good could come for the person who decides to spend their time online making friends. And the data that I gathered gave me a different perspective. At first, I went in realizing that a lot of people make friends online, and I didn't realize that. But when I started going deeper and deeper into theoretical perspectives and and gathering my own information, I saw that there's a positive aspect to cyber anything. And for a future study, if I were to do a future study on this, I would actually conduct one-on-one interviews and try to see what kind of sites they go on and to see what kind of conversations do they have online. Do they create a different persona? Do they not create a different persona? Do they try to make friends? Or are they just blocking everybody out and doing their own thing? And I'd like to thank Dr. Wax and Dr. Fong for helping me with my presentation, because I think it came out pretty well. And there's my work study.
What would you say to like critics saying that like the relationships people are building online are like less meaningful? Because I've heard people argue that like how you're talking about presentation of self, like the person they put out in the internet is like their best version, like it is filtered.
Yeah.
So what would you say about critics saying like, okay, the relationships they're building online are not as like sincere as those built the old-fashioned way?
I think since we're like migrating towards technology and doing everything online, that it's starting to be a more personal thing. You're starting to make friends online, and then you're starting to build relationships online. There are people who yes, they present the best side of themselves, but I think it's about similar interests. Like, yeah, people could be taking the selfie up here, making yourself look skinnier, but like if you meet that person, you connect with them so well on a different level. Like, I don't see why it would be such a big problem to like create some type of relationship online. I hope that answers your question. Yeah, go ahead.
Do you think that building these relationships, do you think that that's like the exception or the rule? Like, do you think that it's like you can like there's 100 people like that are like connecting with other people, and out of like those 100 people, one of them make like a meaningful connection, or do you think that it's like most of these people would make that connection? You know what I'm saying? Do you think it's like a rule or like the exception of the rule? Does that make sense?
I think it's more like not a rule. Well, no, it's not an exception, because I think more than just one person are creating meaningful relationship. Actually, Dr. Wax, when she was presenting her senior seminar course, she said that she met her husband online, but she met him after she divorced her first husband that she actually knew face to face. So it's just, I guess it depends like what you're looking for, because I know some people, they do Tinder, I think, and they go swipe, 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 but are you really looking for something, or are you looking for something else? Like, what are your intentions? And that, I mean, I guess you can weigh that out as well. Oh, you guys are awesome.